asylum seeker crisis. As more buses arrived at Port Authority today, the mayor says the city is severely impacted by the influx of migrants. Speaking at a town hall meeting tonight on the Upper West Side, the mayor said that he doesn't see an end to this problem as the city is not getting enough support from the federal government.
This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
The mayor says the city currently supporting 110,000 asylum seekers that have arrived in the 5 boroughs since April of 2020.
I always said, what have I always said? The best way to red pill, somebody on the left is to do what? Give them what it is that they want. Even though, obviously, New York Mayor Eric Adams, who, by the way, is being nicknamed Black Trump, he has obviously found this out firsthand.
Close the border! Close the border! Close the border! Close the border!
Everybody, my name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm here alongside Representative Adriano Rivera, and we're incredibly thrilled and excited to be here in order to make sure that we are joining the international Hispanic activists as well as several members from across the United States. We have geographic diversity here, including representatives from California, Texas, Illinois, as well as New Jersey. And what we seek to do
Close the border! Close the border!
Environmental disasters. We see so many stories, heartbreaking stories, manifest itself here. But I think these are contentious issues. But we are all Americans, and we all believe in the American dream. That's the common denominator in this country.
How about that? You're blocking traffic. You're blocking traffic. Excuse me, you're impeding my way. Move.
AOC and SBI, you're a disgrace to the Hispanics. You're a disgrace to the Hispanics. You don't have representation.
Legal versus illegal petition.
I got it. Don't worry about me, bro.
Close the border. They are not true asylum petitions. They are economic migrants.
And again, though, that's not exactly my style. So while it is that I will not be doing any forms of apologies, I will be definitely giving you guys some serious credit for finally opening your eyes and seeing exactly what it was I said before, that this right here was eventually going to occur. You know, I got to be honest with you guys. It never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, regardless, ever gets old when AOC is booed by her own crowd. I got the opening semantics out of the way. We need to go through exactly what is going on in the city of New York. Now, guys, I'm recording this video on Saturday, and I'm going to be releasing it on Sunday, as well as a follow-up to the video I have later on this afternoon, which is about the, let's just go ahead and say, finishing up the whole relationship online dating series. But don't worry, I'll leave the videos in the description box. So, the city of New York, like the city of Chicago, like the city of LA, like many of America's biggest cities right now, are being flooded with migrants. Now, all of these cities kind of have something in common. They're all sanctuary cities. I remember back in 2019 when former President Trump was trying to get border funding or border wall funding. And, of course, we had that great big giant surge of migrants. You have to speak a certain way here on the platform, that were coming to the southern border right in time for the midterm elections, making it look like a bit of a crisis. And, of course, AOC was utilized in 2019 with the iconic photos of her crying at the wall. And, of course, you had the whole thing about the toilet sinks, which, by the way, was something that actually started under the Obama administration, and even a lot of the previous photos even bared the proof. It was actually already up there. And, of course, we've been dealing with this immigration problem for a while. And at that time, former President Trump said, you know what, if you don't want, you know what, if you guys really and truly want these illegals so much, then maybe I should put them in your cities. I mean, LA, Chicago, New York, they're all sanctuary cities, so why not put them over there? And, of course, every single mayor in the country at that time basically said, you know what, we don't want it, whoa, we don't want these many people. kind of showing you who the hell these people were. But of course, liberal voters went out there and said, screw it, let them all in. Anything in the world to get rid of evil orange man. We don't care what happens. We'll use any and every angle we can to get rid of this guy. And of course, Governor Greg Abbott out of Texas is giving these people exactly what it is that they asked for, sending migrants to these cities. However, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because apparently Greg Abbott's not the one who's sending migrants to these cities anymore, as you will see here very shortly.
Good morning, Cheryl. A very exciting day for students across New York City. It is the first day of school. It's also the first day of school for the thousands of asylum seekers that are currently residing in New York City. Mayor Eric Adams making a stark warning yesterday of this situation, being very clear of just how out of hand it's gotten. Take a listen.
This issue will destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month.
The big concern this school year is the overwhelming amount of students in the system. Last year, around 19,000 students were in the school system and eligible. This year, it's unclear exactly how many migrants will be coming to class. The Department of Education says that there are 30,000 migrants of school age, and last month alone, 2,500 were enrolled into school. They say that number keeps growing. That is why local lawmakers say the situation is out of control. It's unclear how many kids will show up to school day one. There are language barriers, teacher shortages, and vaccination concerns. I want to bring in Councilman David Carr of Staten Island. Let's start first with the vaccination concerns. What are you hearing from parents on that issue?
Parents want children who are coming to this school to follow the same rules that they have to follow. Their children have to be vaccinated and have proof of such before they enter the school building at the start of the year. That's not the case for migrant children. They're being given a 30-day grace period for important vaccines like polio, smallpox, and MMR. And it's just inappropriate that there be two standards on such an important health issue.
And ultimately, I think that there are 3 points of consensus here that are very important in getting a solution to this issue. The first is that there is consensus here across geography and states on increased federal resources to cities and municipalities dealing with this issue. The second is to allow for work authorizations so that the folks in here can get to work and start supporting themselves as soon as possible. They are prevented from getting jobs, they are prevented from employment, and that is part of the strain on our public systems. The faster that folks can access the work that they're asking for legally, the better we can solve this problem. And the third is extension of temporary protected status for Venezuelans, who are the largest population that are arriving here. So with that, we thank you all, and ready to wrap up?
Well, the American dream will not be bullied. An extension, they already have TPS. Work permits for people that just want to work for their families. Additional funding, yes, for New York City needs more funding so we can get this done. God bless you, America. We love you. What are you guys doing?
That, my friends, is New York City Mayor Eric Adams. And of course, they went out of their way afterwards to call him Black Trump, because obviously Black Trump did not want anybody in his city. He wanted these migrants to be gone, because apparently it's becoming a bit of a nightmare, a bit of a quagmire for these people to govern. Of course, you've got all kinds of other things going on, like, for example, you've got school issues, you've got people out there who are screaming, you know what, man, these kids aren't vaccinated, all that type of stuff. And then, of course, you've also got this other thing where a lot of these migrants who are coming over somehow or another magically end up in other cities because they are allowed to actually travel to other cities. Pay very close attention.
Yesterday afternoon, what you're looking at is 3 unmarked white Border Patrol buses. They pull up and they start releasing several hundred illegal immigrants to city streets and sidewalks in San Diego across from a transit terminal. People were on this bus from as far away as China and Pakistan. And keep in mind, these buses are not from Texas. They're not Greg Abbott's buses. These are the Biden administration's buses. This is Border Patrol mass releasing people. You can see handfuls of them are standing around not knowing where they are, what to do, where to go next. And there was a remarkable exchange between one migrant and a Border Patrol agent as he asked the agent, hey, am I okay to travel to Chicago? And the agent says, yep, you're good to go. Take a listen.
You're free to go anywhere you want. You're free to. Okay, it's no problem if I go to Chicago. Anywhere you want. You're free.
My man was actually allowed to go to Chicago. Philadelphia, Baltimore. I mean, basically anywhere you want to go, you're allowed to go if you're a migrant. And the government will actually pay for it. I mean, you notice how that Border Patrol agent was like, yeah, just go right ahead. You're free to do whatever. Now, I want to go back to what Eric Adams was saying. And I understand that I probably should have responded to this earlier, but I want to go ahead and say this now. It isn't just people coming from South America. It isn't just people coming from Mexico or Central America. We're now finding out that a lot of people out there are actually coming from Pakistan, Uzbekistan, those places there. A lot of places that, quite frankly, we don't really know where the hell these people come from. I mean, quite frankly, it almost feels like it's actually familiar, almost like a scene in a movie. There's this guy who's got this channel called Girishi33. He did a video a long time ago about this, where just a very, very fun video asking the question if the Red Dawn scenario was actually correct. And don't worry, I'll link the description. I'll link that video in the description box. I know I'm going kind of old school with 1984 films and whatnot. We're being invaded. That right there is kind of what's happening. Now, granted, that right there may be a completely unrealistic film, an unrealistic movie, but still at the same time, it just kind of feels like maybe something is going on here. And maybe the people of New York have finally woken up to this. Maybe the people of New York have finally, said to themselves, you know what, man, this right here is too much. These people are ruining the city. Mayor Eric Adams, even though he's now on board with the Trump line of send them all back, it seems to me like these people are kind of showing you who the hell they really and truly were. They were never really and truly on the migrant side to begin with. It was all a campaign issue. It was all a campaign thing. Of course, the Biden administration and the Democrats on the federal level, they're looking at this situation and saying that it ensures our power for many years to come, because even though I do believe that they will lose in 2024, unless you actually deport or change some form of policy, chances are these people are probably going to still be here for a good long while, thus therefore also giving the Democrats back the advantage in some of these blue states with the Electoral College. Every 10 years the Electoral College changes, and it typically changes based upon the actual population of the area. A lot of people have left New York, a lot of people have left California, they've moved to states like, say, Texas and Florida, and they've moved to much, much more conservative areas. By the way, some of those people, when they show up to these states, they still vote Republican anyways, or their thinking may have changed. If you really want a better indication of how people are going to vote when they actually arrive somewhere, it's best to go to the U.S. Census, rather than automatically assume that everybody coming from New York is going to be a lib. By the way, I've said this on multiple occasions. I have a lot of people who I grew up with that come from the state of New York, and if it does seem like I'm giving that city hell, trust me, there's actually a perfectly good reason for it, because they complained about it too. There's a reason why it is these people left. By the way, the vast majority of these people who were moving, I've never ran into a single one that was voting Democrat. The vast majority of them were conservative. And I actually went to upstate New York this time last year, and guess what I found out? I found out that outside of New York City and Albany, it's actually a pretty well conservative place. I know it doesn't look that way based upon the voter makeup, but it's actually a pretty well conservative place. You go up there, you see Trump signs all over the place. It is what it is. People who live in upstate New York, probably a lot of them lived in the city at one point in time, and they obviously left the city for a reason. Now people within the city itself can kind of see through the BS. They can kind of see through the fact that AOC is, of course, bought and paid for. I said this before, that when the whole tax the rich thing came out, the dress from the Met Gala, I said that the Democrats were propping her up so that way her own base of crazies would absolutely turn on her. It hasn't worked yet, but obviously there was a reason for this. You see, they want to replace her with a much, much more moderate Democrat, or one who runs on much, much more moderate policies. The goal, of course, was always to implement a socialistic agenda, but the goal was always to implement it at a very, very slow pace. It was never meant to be done at such an extremely ridiculous pace. Next thing you know, you get crazy people like AOC who respond to Bernie Sanders' give me money so that way I can take money from other people type bit. Basically, you need to hide your wallet anytime that old free letter comes around. Fact of the matter is that they brought these crazies out to get the actual voter base out there to actually support them, to give them absolute power. Now they want to get rid of her, which, by the way, I don't blame them for doing. I mean, the crazy woman, quite frankly, doesn't need to be anywhere near any piece of power at all. 29-year-old bartender who, quite frankly, people were gloating about online about how she looks, and oh God, she now said that when the woman, quite frankly, is horse-faced, and she's also horse-brained. Now these people are now looking at the situation, and they're now officially saying, look, we are done with this. We want nothing more to do with this crap. We want absolutely nothing more here. We want these people to go back. It's causing us problems. You know what? And of course, Eric Adams, of course, is basically saying send them back. I mean, let's take a look at this one more time.
What's wrong with this America? This is the United States of America. Yeah, that's what is this? What is this here then? Yeah, variants for who? For who? For us? For the United States? No, you come down. You're complicit in destroying our city. You come down, you own.
I think that AOC, when she came out and other members of Congress and they had this press conference, what did you think about their comments?
They have destroyed our city, and New York, especially Queens, is woken
let's
up.
pull away from this. You see the.
It's not only AOC that these people are shouting down. They're also shouting out other politicians, including Gerald Nadler, the short little 4'8" penguin who actually crapped himself during a press conference. Yes, the fact of the matter is that people in the city of New York are they're just getting sick and tired of this. They're getting tired of all the drama. They're getting tired of all the migrants coming over here. They're getting tired of seeing their resources basically going to, take care of non-Americans. I mean, wow, you guys overnight turned into a bunch of America First conservatives. Join the club. Also, something else, too, you're going to be branded as racist. You're going to be branded as sexist. Go ahead and get ready for it because it's coming for you. At the end of the day, the left ends up eating itself, especially when the mainstream media gets involved. You people are now going to be officially called Trump supporters, even though you more than likely probably won't vote for him in 2024. More than likely, you're probably going to stay home, even though he's really the only realistic shot you have at getting rid of these migrants and getting you guys back to what it is that, quite frankly, you do every day. And with that right there, I need to go ahead and kind of give a bit of an apology. You see, I went through and re-looked at my analytics, and I think that I've got a lot of friends of mine who, by the way, like I said, are from New York, have actually looked at the channel. They actually agree with what I say. But they also look at exactly what it is that I say, and they also look at sometimes the language that I use, which, by the way, I always go off script, which, of course, I need to do a better job of actually scripting these videos. And I noticed that the top analytics in my channel, the top city that watches my content, believe it or not, it's actually NYC. I've been to New York City twice in my life. Twice. I went back in 2001. It was August. I actually got to stand on top of the World Trade Center towers. This was about 3 weeks. I thought it was a month to the day, but it was actually 3 weeks because I had to go back and look at the New York Yankees schedule because they played the Seattle Mariners. Even though I'm a Braves fan, my stepfather was a Yankees fan. We went there to go see them play the Mariners. That was back during that whole magical run that the Mariners had, which, of course, got stopped by the Yankees in the League Championship Series. Amazing place, amazing sight to see. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that the city of New York is better than what we're being told on television. And quite frankly, I give the city of New York a lot of hell a lot of times because I know that it is actually better than what the hell we've been told in the media, than what we see, than the picture that we get. That right there is the truth. That's the reason why I do it the way I do it. And of course, you've also got these people out here who say, oh, what is it? Stop telling people that they voted for it. Stop doing that. Well, until you change your mind and change your behavior, I'm going to continue to say you voted for this fire. You really and truly want to red pill somebody on the left, give them what the hell they want. That right there is the way, that is the reason why I am the way I am, because I actually care. People who come out here and give the whole soft talk or whatnot, they're not really doing anybody any favors by simply pointing out, well, you shouldn't say this. No. I say it like that for a reason, so that way it will stick in your mind, so that way you'll go in that voter booth, and maybe, just maybe, you'll say, you know what, man, I'm tired of voting for the same crap. You know what, let me put this in here, okay? That right there is the reason why I do what it is that I do. And obviously, I do care about New York. Obviously, I do care about the city of Chicago. These right here are the biggest cities in the country. It's where a lot of our pop culture comes from. It's where a lot of our societal issues, quite frankly, have gotten the absolute worst. Obviously, you want to bring small town things to big cities, but oftentimes it does not work that way. Let me just go ahead and say this. When you have big cities like this, you obviously have something to emulate. That right there is what the hell is going on here. And when we see our bigger cities begin to fall, we begin to lose faith. Disengage altogether. I've been saying for a long time the true divide in this country is urban versus rural. And apparently everything that people in rural and small towns have been saying to the urban areas, to the massive amounts of urban areas, is that wait till it actually shows up on your doorstep. Well, guess what? It has shown up on your doorstep. Now, please do us all a favor. Save yourselves and get rid of this nonsense. Vote these idiots out of office. Stop voting for the same crap. It's now affecting your daily lives. And obviously, as you guys can see, it is obviously causing you problems. Do us all a favor and actually have a conversation with us for a change and actually listen to what it is that we say, because we've been right the entire time, and now you're living through what the hell we warned you about. With that right there being said, guys, make sure you guys leave a comment in this video. Please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Please consider that right there. Please also share the video with family and friends. Also, hit the notifications bell. You guys can follow me on Facebook. Only about 25% of you guys that watch the content are subscribed. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so that way these videos will actually go much higher in the algorithm. Please hit the like button, and I'll see you guys later.